Health and Human Services Secretary nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has reportedly been spotted working out at a New York City Equinox gym in tight jeans and hiking boots. And if you think that's weird, wait until you hear every single other thing about him.
Now, RFK is not a CEO of anything, is he? Because that could be problematic at this point. You know how they are. Speaking of which, the poll, the Democrats, an amazing poll out of a university about the Democrats and murder. A little bit disturbing, I think. Womp, womp, womp. Well, happy Wednesday and welcome back. We've got gender dysphoria on Capitol Hill. And there was a hearing yesterday with the president of the NCAA, National College Athletic Association, the former Republican governor of Massachusetts. But when you're a Republican governor of Massachusetts, you're more likely to be Mitt Romney than Ronald Reagan, I think. I think that would be fair to say. But since I just mentioned it, you know, we got Luigi Mangione. The Mangione family's Luigi. And he's in prison. He's now been charged with first-degree murder. Remember, they kept telling us that he was only going to be charged with second-degree murder. But it turns out he was actually charged with first-degree murder yesterday. And that's good by New York. One count of first-degree murder. And then this is always crazy. You got one count of second-degree murder as a crime of terrorism. I was like, how many people did he kill? I thought he killed one guy. So they charged him with first-degree murder for killing a CEO. Then they charged him with second-degree murder as a crime of terrorism. That's separate. One count of first-degree murder, one count of second-degree murder as a crime of terrorism. And then, stand by, there's more. Another count of second-degree murder. Because this is, you know, who's doing the charging up here. It's that Alvin Bragg, lunatic leftist. And they love to overcharge. And then if you don't find him guilty of first-degree murder, then you tell the jury to go back and see if you can find him guilty of second-degree murder as a crime of terrorism. And if they come back and say no to that one, then you say, well, we got another charge here, and that's second-degree murder, but not as a crime of terrorism. See if you can find him guilty on that count. And then, of course, he's in really big trouble because they also charged him with possession of a loaded firearm. Well, it was less loaded after he got done with it, wasn't it? I wonder if that diminishes the charge at all. With the 3 shell casings on the ground, and, you know, he murdered a CEO because CEO. And you remember the Democrats, they were coming up with excuses for him all over the place. Well, he was probably denied coverage. He wasn't. He probably got his insurance from this company and had a bone to pick. He didn't. He didn't get his insurance from the company. He didn't have a bone to pick, although there are 4 screws in his spinal cord that put there by the patriarchy. So never mind that. Remarkable stuff. So 2 counts of possession of a loaded firearm. Why 2 counts? I think he only had 1 firearm, but they charge him twice for it. You know, this is another example of why it's good to be Hunter Biden, I guess, because he didn't get all these 2 counts, possession of a loaded firearm and all that stuff, illegal possession. Also, possession of a forged instrument. 1 count of possession of a forged instrument. He had a fake ID, a fake driver's license that he was using at the hostel and stuff, so he got a fake document, right? And then 1 count of criminal possession of a weapon. Well, wait a minute. Didn't you just charge him with possession of a loaded firearm and possession of forged instrument, and then criminal possession of a weapon? Aren't these all the same things over and over again? But never mind that. So that is, it's fascinating that he was charged with first-degree murder, and then a 2nd count of second-degree murder, and a 3rd count of second-degree murder again, because, you know, you gotta keep charging. That's what you do. But that's not surprising. None of that is especially surprising anyway. But this is kind of disturbing, I've got to say. A new shock poll reveals most young Americans back Brian Thompson's murder and support suspect Luigi Mangione. and this is entirely because of the Democrat Party, of course, because they're the left. They're not liberals. A startling new poll revealed that a plurality of young Americans back the slaying of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. They're all Democrats, every filthy, bloodthirsty one of them, right? The poll released by Emerson College, a liberal institution, a private university in Boston, Massachusetts, determined that of 1,000 registered voters surveyed, 41% of them between the ages of 18 and 29 believed that Thompson's murder was acceptable. Now, make no mistake, the Democratic Party has done this to a generation of young Americans. And this goes with the mayor of New York. Have you heard the mayor of New York talking about this? This is kind of fascinating. I got to say, so 18 to 29, 41% of them say the murder was acceptable. Thompson was 50 years old when he was gunned down outside of a Manhattan hotel on the morning of December 4th while on his way to an investor conference. They hate investors. They just want other people's money. The NYPD searched for days trying to find killer till December 9th when Luigi Mangione, 26 years old, was arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, because an employee there identified him watching the news and all that. Not everybody follows the news, but that McDonald's employee did, and that's good. So since the murder, many have gone on to celebrate Thompson's death, citing the broken American healthcare system. Sure, yeah, it's much better every place else. That's what the left will tell you, because they want to destroy the private sector and private health insurance and private medical care and have state-run health care so they can take it away from you at the point of a gun because they're the left, you know. Meanwhile, others have mourned the loss of the father of two. Now, of the 41% of young voters who agree with the death, 24% of them believe the murder was somewhat acceptable. 17% believe it was completely acceptable. 17% of Americans. This is not broken down by party yet. And 17% of Americans say, oh, yeah, murdering him was great. That was great. Now, if the police gunned down a drug dealer that's shooting at the police, then the Democrats will burn your city down and overturn police cars and loot, the Louis Vuitton store and the CVS. But never mind that. Isn't that amazing? So a whole lot of them, while a large number of young people agree Thompson's murder was valid, 40% said it was unacceptable. Well, that's encouraging, I guess, isn't it, right? Of that 40%, 33% said his death was completely unacceptable. We're getting into the weeds here on the finger, but this is pretty amazing stuff. I've got to say, Democrats have created this level of hatred in the United States of America, and it's because of anti-capitalism, pro-statism, racism, sexism, and then we got this young woman, 15 years old, that murdered 2 people at a Christian school and shot, I guess, 6 more, and then shot herself in the head. Let me get to that in a minute. But while some chose one side or the other, 19% of young Americans said they were neutral on his murder. So 17% entirely and completely in favor. 19% neutral. That means you're in favor. That's what that means in the case of an assassination. Of the men that participated in the survey, which was, received answers from voters aged 18 to 70, 19% of men said Thompson's death was acceptable, while only 14% of women agreed. This is completely nuts. Any number, if 1%, if one person said this is good, that person should probably have the FBI at their door with a battering ram and flashlights and rifles out and all that stuff. Just amazing stuff. I've got to say, your Democrat Party, they are truly something. And this is entirely on them, 100% on the Democrat Party. They created this hatred on Luigi Mangione's part, the anti-healthcare thing. Now, he had just had major surgery some time ago. on his back to repair damage. I think he was surfing in Hawaii when he injured his back, because that's what rich kids do, and it's where rich kids get injured, but never mind that. Amazing stuff, these people, and so many of them love murder, and they're in favor of it because the Democrat Party has convinced them that killing a CEO of a health insurance company is justified, it's legitimate. And how many of them? We had Elizabeth Warren and AOC and Bernie Sanders and Michael Moore all saying, well, murder is absolutely wrong. But people can only put up with so much before.
And look, we'll say it over and over. Violence is never the answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah, and then the fake journalist agrees with Pocahontas. Biggest lie of the year a few years ago was Elizabeth Warren is Native American and made her career at Harvard University and stopped being Native American. She was never Native American. She'll never be Native American. She's not. She's a lion. The most Native American thing about her is that she's a lion Sacagawea, right? Because Sacagawea is the only thing that is just amazing stuff.
My papa had high cheekbones like all of the Indians do.
All of them. Not to stereotype, but they all have high cheekbones, and my papa had papa with the high cheekbones. Just amazing stuff. Yeah, and the young woman, 15 years old, at the Christian school shooting, murdered 2, wounded 6, killed herself. Liked to go by the man's name, Sam, and called. You were reading, Michael, from an amazing article about the 15-year-old who wanted all men destroyed and what is it? White people, men, and the patriarchy. Now, they got to have the patriarchy destroyed. Well, you hear this stuff because they are amazing. Wah, wah, wah. Yes, they are. Oh, right, the forged instrument. Well, they had the forged instrument. They had the fake driver's license, but it was also like a homemade gun, right? On a printer, a 3D printer. All right, let's grab a phone call. I've got more to get to on both of those cases, and then gender on Capitol Hill, where they're still confused. Too many Democrats. And Adam Schiff has already been seated as a senator, as a United States senator, because they're so corrupt. All right, let's grab a phone call. Let's go to Joanne, calling from Warrenton, Virginia. Joanne, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Wonderfully, thank you.
Good. So good to talk to you. My husband, Mike, is here, too.
Hey, Chris. Mike from Warrenton, not Mike the Lib, though.
I'd never. We know Mike. We know when it's Mike a mile away, don't we? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Joanne, Mike,
we have an
welcome.
Question.
Yes.
So we were curious. She got a feed on her phone about Trump wanting Canada to become the 51st state. Uh-huh. That can't be true. He is joking, correct?
Well, he's mocking Justin Trudeau, who came down and visited him at Mar-a-Lago, right? And he said, yeah, we'll make you a 51st state and we'll make you the governor. And everybody's laughing. And then he tweeted about it yesterday, or on Truth Social, he posted about it yesterday. He is joking. Yes, he is.
So it's all okay, because I was like, that would be a huge mistake, bringing in all these Democrats. There'd be hundreds of thousands more Democrats, and he would just be bringing in another California.
Absolutely true. And, and that has been observed. Now, he did, because Justin Trudeau's in big trouble with his own party in Canada, and he's probably going to be kicked out because of this parliamentary system and all that. But Trump was making fun of Justin Trudeau and calling him governor. Did you see him yesterday?
Yes. Very funny stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just Trump making fun of him because he's a Canadian, and if you can't make fun of Canadians, who's left to make fun of? Right?
2019, beautiful. Want to stayed on the Canadian side. It is beautiful, but there are some whack jobs up there. We met a couple of them.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah, it's full of, dope smoking Canadians, and And they're, I love Canada. Everybody loves Canada. Canadians are nice. They're stand-up comics. Right. They play hockey. And Trump made a joke yesterday, too, about, like, HE double hockey sticks, because he's making fun of Canadians playing hockey, right?
Right. And they do hate Trump. We know that.
Yeah, the lefties do. There are some conservatives in Canada. I know a couple personally. I know a woman who is a conservative ambassador for Canada to a foreign country, of course, not to the United States. A great conservative, a lot of fun. Although when she left her post as an ambassador, she did go into the pot business. But she's a capitalist. It's Canada, after all. They're all stoned. I think that's fair. They play hockey. They tell jokes. They do comedy. Great stuff. But, yes, Mike, Joanne and Mike. Yeah, President Trump is just messing with Justin Trudeau. And it looks like it may lead to Justin Trudeau's demise as prime minister because the Canadians are attacking him for sucking up to Trump. So it's probably going to be the end of Justin Trudeau as prime minister, which is kind of funny, too. Then we just build a wall along the side, and we'll send all our illegal aliens there, the Venezuelans and stuff. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. Well, you hear about this young woman, the school shooter, and then the mayor of New York talking about the state of affairs in the United States of America. Interesting stuff. Let's go to the phones, Michael. Let's go to Russ, calling from Winchester, Virginia. Russell, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good afternoon. Actually, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Chris, I've been out driving from Baltimore listening today, both in the earlier show and yours. And I got to thinking about the Stephanopoulos ABC fine that's taken place.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the $16 million ABC being forced to pay by the court for lying about President Trump 10 times. George Stephanopoulos, right? Uh-oh. Oh, and then the GPS. Your GPS knocked you off. I blame the drones. It must be the drones. Don't you think it's the drones? It's probably the drones. I'm sorry, Russ. I don't know what happened. I heard your car talking to you. Must be the NSA. Probably Biden and Harris. I've got that. But wait till you hear about this 15-year-old woman that shot people at the school, killed 2, wounded 6, then killed herself. And then the mayor of New York kind of talking about that. Yes, sir. Democrats love, you got 2 scenarios here. The CEO murder, assassination in New York, and then the school shooting with the 15-year-old girl, shot and killed 2, shot and wounded 6 more, 2 in critical condition, then shot and killed herself. What is going on with that? The Democrats are on the wrong side of everything, aren't they? I mean, they're on the wrong side of everything. On the killing of the CEO, you've got huge numbers of them who are like, oh, yeah, that was good. That was a really good thing. And murder is wrong, like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie the Bolshevik and AOC. But, they all say, what do you expect from people? Our healthcare system is so bad. And no, it's not. And our insurance industry is so terrible. It's always going to need fixing. It can always be better. But never mind that. Pretty amazing stuff. And then this poll out of Emerson College finds that 19% of voters, I got to tell you, they love mayhem and craziness. 40% of Americans, the lion's share of them, Democrats, of course, are in favor of the murder of the CEO because they're unwell. Now, let me move on to this. The second one, because the Democrats, again, on the wrong side of everything. And then they raise these lunatics, and they really raise a lot of lunatics, That's a fact. The problem is not our guns, it's your sons, as any school child knows. Pretty amazing stuff. And the the Washington Post has a piece today. It's the real information is buried deep in the bowels of the story. But the school shooter had rocky home life. You think maybe a Democrat home life? Court records show she attended therapy amid parents' frequent splits. The parents were frequently split. And it does get pretty bizarre pretty fast, I've got to say. So the young woman who perpetrated, and, you know, young women don't typically do this sort of thing. But in this instance, a 15-year-old girl killed 2, wounded 6 others, small Christian school, Madison, Wisconsin, on Monday. And today is Wednesday. That was day before yesterday. It was after we got off the air. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, the Washington Post, they can scratch the surface every now and then when they look to do it. According to court records, pretty amazing stuff. A very turbulent home life, which showed that her parents divorced and remarried multiple times, and that she had been embroiled and in all of the mayhem and enrolled in therapy because what's better than therapy for children? Natalie Rupnow, who also went by Samantha, and they just leave it at that, and by Sam on social media. She preferred Sam, which is a man's name, and you go by Samantha. We had a wonderful Samantha on our television show last night at Newsmax, too. Just a wonderful person, and she may go by Sam if she wants to also. But never mind that right now. Let's get back to this woman, Natalie, 15-year-old girl, Natalie, who's now dead because she shot and killed herself after shooting a bunch of people at a school, a Christian school. And she went by Samantha because that makes no sense at all. Her name, it's not a middle name, it's not a family name. She just said, I'm going to go by Samantha from now on. Like I'm Chris Plant, but I'm going to go by, Siegfried from now on. Why not? So the Washington Post, buried in the piece and the jump on page 7, the story starts on the front page, says that they looked into things here, and a photo appears to show Natalie Rupnow wielding a gun and taking aim at a firing range, which her father identifies as North Bristol Sportsman Club in nearby Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. In a comment accompanying the post, Jeff Rupnow, her alleged father, wrote that he and his daughter had joined the club earlier this year and that they had been loving every second of it, Dad said. In a photograph, Natalie Rupnow, who likes to go by Sam, is wearing a T-shirt with the letters KMFDM, an apparent reference to the German rock band, right, whose lyrics were posted on the website of one of the shooters in the 1999 Columbine High School massacre, right? And so she's already tied up going out shooting with Dad at the club, and she's all about the Columbine students. I think Dad might bear some responsibility here. So according to the Washington Post review of court records, Sam Rupnow and her parents first married in 2011, about 2 years after she was born. She was born 2 years later, they got married. Melissa Rupnow, the mom, had been previously married and divorced, and she had another daughter with a different man to whom she was never married. Court records indicate that the girl, Natalie Rupnow's half-sister, and other permanent legal guardians. She had, what is this? So they got other permanent and a half-sister from another marriage where not marriage, where she wasn't married but had another kid. And I'm guessing Democrats, got Democrats written all over it. So the Washington Post was not able to reach the half-sister, who is now 20 years old, as opposed to her 15-year-old younger half-sister. The killer goes by Sam. Melissa and Jeff, the parents, divorced for the first time in 2014, agreeing to joint legal custody of their shared daughter, Natalie, that's the killer woman, but specifying that she would live primarily with her mother. Sure, naturally. The couple then remarried in 2017 and divorced again for a second time in 2020, again agreeing to share custody of their daughter Natalie, who goes by Sam. But the court records show they divided the time with Natalie more evenly between them. During this period, Natalie would spend 2 days with her father, then 2 days with her mother, then 3 more days with her father, before reversing the schedule the following week. Well, that certainly leads to a good, stable home life and makes a lot of sense to everyone, I think. Not a problem there. Shortly after Rupnau's parents split up the second time, the couple remarried once more. They were married 3 times. They had the kid out of marriage, but then they married 3 times. Everything's fine here. And she's following the Columbine kids and modeling herself on Columbine, and Dad's taking her to the shooting range and thinking nothing of it. Every day's an IQ test, people. Isn't that amazing? So they remarried once more. But in April of 2021, they were petitioning for a third divorce. A judge granted it a month later, but noted that the parties were admonished. They were admonished concerning remarrying again for a 4th time. Court records show. After seeking mediation to determine the custody of Natalie, they agreed in July of 2022 that they would share legal custody. They're going to share legal custody, but that the girl would now live mostly with her father. By this time, Natalie Rupnau had been enrolled in therapy. I can't imagine why, which was supposed to help guide decisions about which parent she would spend weekends with. I got to tell you, there's nothing funny about it, of course. It's a tragic story in every imaginable way. But it gets even crazier because the Washington Post has that, and they don't really report the news, but they found some court records, so they included it in their thing, and that's good. But wait, because there's more. And yesterday I was sharing with my friends at Newsmax a story that was really something, and it has to do with Natalie, who prefers to go by Sam for no apparent reason. Isn't that amazing? And it turns out that she really hates men. I might have something to do with Dad. I mean, if you're Dad, maybe you should be paying attention to this because you're not doing a very good job. And that's generous understatement, isn't it? But she hates men and the patriarchy and wants to be called by a man's name, which is more than a little odd. All of it is more than a little odd. But this is what the Democrats do. Now let's go to the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, because he was holding an event yesterday, and he's talking about the CEO killer in New York, right, who the Democrats love, Luigi. And Democrats, according to polls, a whole lot of at least 4 in 10. And I'm going to go at least with Democrats. I think the number is probably greater than that of Democrats. They love murder, and they love killing CEOs, and they love all this bad stuff. Now, a story in the Washington Times, a great story in the Washington Times, said, according to screenshots of her social media accounts, which were posted before Police Chief Barnes officially identified Miss Rupnau, the pictures of her social media account says that she hated the patriarchy and called for the extermination of men. Now, who teaches people to hate the patriarchy? Well, the Democrat Party does. The left does. Who says that masculinity is toxic? Well, the Democratic Party does. The left does. The Joe Biden's party and Kamala Harris's party and the Democrats taught her to hate the patriarchy, and she called literally for the extermination of men. Isn't that amazing? And Chief Barnes identified the shooter on Monday evening as 15-year-old Natalie Rupnau, a student at the school who also uses the name Samantha and Sam online. Why would she use Samantha and Sam online? Gender issues, daddy issues. This is what they do, isn't it? Yes, it is. All right, let's go to the mayor of New York, who's talking about the state of our society.
Think about the shooter. Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. And everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? And, our children are being radicalized to hate the America to hate the country that put them where they are.
Our children are being radicalized, and it's true. We're raising the left because of cultural dominance and information dominance, media dominance, but really the cultural marketplace, they latched onto it long ago. They've been sucking the lifeblood out of it. They're corrupting children up the yin-yang in schools. That's why they took over the teachers' unions and so on. Our children are being radicalized, and that is 100% true. And they're being taught to hate, not well said, the United States of America.
This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of shooting someone. And we better deal with the radicalization of our young people. And, people could, they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it.
Yeah, that's, and we are. And he's talking about Luigi killing Brian, the CEO. And we're radicalizing, and it's absolutely true. And who's radicalizing? I'm not. Conservative talk radio is not. Conservative media is not radicalizing anybody. The left is radicalizing people, and you see the school shooter who goes by a man's name, who comes from a family that is, just lost in space, exploded like a car bomb in Beirut, and her parents are like, oh yeah, let's get married again, let's get divorced again, let's get you can have her 2 days a week, and let's go to the shooting range. She loves the Columbine people, and that's cute, and isn't it wonderful? We're having a really good time. Just amazing. Now, again, the Washington Times, the screenshots of her social media. She hates the patriarchy. The extermination of men is something she's calling for. Sam Rapinoe, she had a Discord account online under the handle Brained Out, where she posted a 6-page manifesto titled War Against Humanity. That's the title of her manifesto. And indicated a deeply disturbed person who hated her parents and all of humanity, especially males. I realize the truth. Men are irredeemable. They can't be reformed or redeemed. They are a beeping F-word scourge upon planet Earth. Only one solution is total exterminate them. So that's grammatically incorrect as well. The only solution is to total exterminate them, she wrote. Every single male must be wiped out, from babies to the elderly. Only then can women be free to create a new world. Of course, it's going to be difficult to create a new world. I don't know if she knows how all this works, but to have a new world, you still have to have men. I don't know if she knows this. All right, let's grab a quick phone call. And Eric Adams is right for once in his life. Let's go to Gary calling from beautiful Solomon's Island in Maryland. Gary, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, what's up, Chris? I love your show, man.
Thank you.
You get me cracking up over here.
Thank you very much.
Talk about Xi Jinping.
I love Xi Jinping. Ricochet Rabbit.
Hey, look, as far as the lie of the year, man, I got two that comes to my mind. And the first one is that them trying to tell us that Joe Biden's brain was not a broke because she is a broke. That brain of his is no good.
That is a fact,
Does
Jack.
Not work like. That's right. Does not work like it's designed.
That is a fact.
And the second one is just such a bold-faced lie to me that Kamala Harris and her fake and phony accents that she tried to pretend like she had, according to the group she was talking around. It's just an insult to some of us out here. 'Cause, I'm a white guy from the South, and my wife, she's a black woman from D.C., and we both can see straight through her, and it's disgusting to see somebody like that, and just both of them, Kamala Harris and the president, and got him up there pooping in his britches on the world stage, and they're trying to tell us that his brain is sharp as a tack. It's just ridiculous.
That is great stuff. That's wonderful. So you're a great classic American family, Gary. You're a white guy from the South, a black woman from Washington, D.C. as your loving bride and wife, the love of your life, and you see right through it, and all of us see right through it, I think. But the left, because of their cultural dominance and information dominance, total media dominance, They corrupt everything. And they corrupted the Ivy League, Luigi, to hate insurance. What is with that? And healthcare. What is with that? He had amazing surgery on his broken back or whatever it was. And they teach hate. They like to hate everybody. And here's a 15-year-old girl, hates all men. They should all be exterminated from the earth. And then women can carry on for about 5 minutes. And then you do understand one should die off. That's the end of everything, because there are no men and all that stuff. But they teach hatred of men, of white people, of successful people, of CEOs, of millionaires, of insurance companies, insurance industries, the industry and the healthcare industry. All of the Democrat Party is behind all of this. The 15-year-old girl, Luigi the CEO killer. The Democrat Party's fingerprints are all over all of it, and there's simply no denying that. These are all their signature issues, and the murders are everywhere, but because of media dominance, they never get called on it, do they? No, they don't. Gary, thank you. Great hearing your voice. I love it. I love your story, too. This Christmas, as we celebrate the gift of life, Christmas, that's what it's about. You have a great opportunity to share the same gift of life with a mother and her helpless little baby. Imagine a young woman facing an unplanned pregnancy, feeling all alone, unsure what to do. She's searching for hope and a path forward, and that's where preborn ministries come in. Kelsey, young woman, found herself with an unplanned pregnancy, and like most young women in this situation, she was scared and unsure what to do. And by the grace of God, Kelsey and her partner found a preborn network clinic. From the moment they walked in, they were overwhelmed by the love and the open arms and the welcome they received, introducing her to her unborn baby on a sonogram. And once they heard the heartbeat and saw the little fella in there squirming around, they chose life. This Christmas, for just $28 American dollars, you can help save a helpless little baby's life, a mother with child. And thanks to a special matching grant, your gift will be doubled by preborn. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby when prompted. That's pound 250. The keyword is baby. Or you can go on Al Gore's amazing internet and go to preborn.com/plant. That's me. That's preborn.com/plant. Thank you in advance. Yeah, so Gary, that's right. And the big lies. And Joe Biden's brain. She's a broke. She's a no good.